Hi, my name is Derek Free. I'm an injured worker. Uh, Actually, I should be called a survivor because I've managed to survive the injury. I'd like to give a few pointers on how to do certain things. I was new to this when I first got injured, but I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from different people that I've met, other injured workers mainly. One fellow by the name of Josh Thurston taught me a lot. Number one thing, like if you're going to start picketing, which I am going to be doing come election, if you're going to picket as an injured worker, always stay on the public sidewalk. Never get into a confrontation with the people that you're picketing. Just ignore them, walk up and down. Uh, if they invite you in to discuss your problems, never go in, because the minute you go in, you're trespassing. They'll have you arrested, and you'll end up like Josh did, being bounced around in the back of a Chev van or a police van for 4 hours. Injured himself doing it too. Uh, Also, there's a little device called well, I don't really know the name of it. It's like a phone jack. You wet the end and stick it on the back of your phone, and you plug the other end into one of those cheap cassette decks into the microphone outlet. And you have call display on your phone, so you see WCB calling you. You click record and pick up the phone. Now, you don't mention that you're taping them. Ever. You don't, no matter what anybody says, don't tell them anything. It's called one-party consent. You're not legally obligated to tell them. Now, it may or may not be admissible in a court of law. It's up to their discretion whether they use it or not. But at least you have a record of the conversation. Because after the phone call is finished, you take the tape out, you put a piece of tape on it, you write the date and time of the phone call plus the name of the person you were talking to. That way you have a record. I learned that from a fella by the name of Harvey Kirkpatrick. Very intelligent when it comes to that kind of stuff. Anyways, then there's other things that you can do. You can go down and purchase a copy of the WCB operations manual. As far as I know, you still can. Uh, Josh Thurston, a friend of mine's got a copy, and he gets it renewed every year. Very helpful because it tells you what they're going to do to you and how they're going to try to get around you and what means they're going to know your enemy is basically what you're doing. You're learning his methods so that you can fight him, because you're in a fight. These people are there to get rid of you. They don't want to pay you. Forget this bullshit of compensation being there for the worker. Compensation has one purpose only. Workman's compensation has one purpose only. Actually, they should change the name to employer's compensation. It shouldn't be workman's. It's got nothing to do with workmen. It's there for one reason, so that you cannot take the employer to court. The only way that you can take an employer to court now is if you prove that he was criminally negligent in your injury. Not easy to do. Very expensive. And it's usually your next of kin that are doing it, not you. You're dead. Anyways, that's that. Okay, so then everything has to be typed properly. You can't handwrite appeals and that. It has to be typed. Uh, Either you pay somebody to do it if you can afford to, which I kind of doubt because most injured workers don't have a lot of money, or you find somebody in your family or a friend that can help you in that respect. I was very lucky. I had Josh Thurston and a friend of his, a registered nurse, who did this for me. And I was so fortunate because I was totally lost. I mean, most of the time, injured workers are just working people. They don't have a clue of what they're dealing with when it comes to this organization that they're going to be dealing with. And it's like you get set down in the middle of a city. You don't speak the language, so you can't read the signs, and you're lost. You're totally lost. You don't know what to do. You're injured. You're in pain. So you're not thinking about fighting these criminals. You're thinking about trying to get better. And these, believe you me, you have to know these people and dealt with these people to know what how these people deal. The more pain you're in, the better they like it. They love it because you're not thinking properly. When they phone you up and you don't have a recording of it, they can say anything to you and they're recording it. And then they only use the parts of the conversation that suit them. They'll use one half of the sentence to screw you out of what's yours, and rightfully yours. So this is what you're dealing with. You have to listen to people that have went through it. This is how we learn in life. This is how I learned. When I come into this, I didn't know nothing. It just blew me away. I was ready to just start smashing everything in sight. But I was injured. I couldn't do any of that, so I was just lost, and it just destroyed me mentally. And Josh saw what I was going through and what they were doing to me, and he didn't want to get involved because he was so involved with his own case, and it was destroying him. But he saw what I was going through, and he felt sorry for me, and he says, listen, he says, I don't want to do this, Derek. He says, but I'm not going to let them screw you without a fight. He says, I'm going to help you. And he did. And God bless his soul. He did so much for me. And I'm so grateful for him and Marilyn for what they did. Marilyn was his buddy who proofread for him and made sure the letters were typed up. Well, she's college educated, English major, so she knows what she's doing. And helped me so much, and I'm so grateful. But most people don't have that. Some people don't even have computers. Now, if you're an injured worker and you find out about this site, or you're over at a friend's site and you're watching this, the first thing you should do is think about getting a computer and get somebody to teach you how to use it. It won't bite you. It don't hurt if you push the wrong button. You learn how to use it. That's how I learned. I still type with one fist. That's the way I type. But I've taught myself. I didn't know how to use this camera. I didn't even know how to hook it up. I'm still learning on it, and I will, and I'll master it, and I'll learn how to use it. And thank you to everybody that's allowing me to go on to their deals and tape my stuff. But it's a tool. It's like everything else. It's a tool. So that's one of the deals. Then there's what's called case law. You go onto the computer and you go into the Supreme Court of Canada, and it's case law. It's cases that have been fought in the Supreme Court and won. And what you do is you look to see if there's any cases similar to yours. If you happen to get lucky and there's one in there that's exactly like yours and won, then you got him. Then it's been fought in the Supreme Court. They've lost. You can go to a lawyer and say, hey, there it is there. And you can nail them. That's another deal. You can go down to the law libraries. It's free. You can get in and go through the law libraries. I did it with Josh. Now, apparently, Josh actually went into the WCB library and had the secretaries there looking for cases for him. Apparently, he bought his way in with 5 pounds of Purdy chocolates. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. But, hey, if you're legally allowed to go in there, you find out if you are, and go in there, because if any cases that are similar to yours that have been won or granted, then they should grant yours. It's been said. It's a precedent. You have to learn about things like that. I'm still learning about things like that. Josh still says I found one deal in Nova Scotia there where they hauled them into court, and I found it. I was fishing around on the computer, just buggering around, and I found it, and it helped, but it didn't get me money, but it did help the appeal. But